Lucifer's fall was a lie. The story you know is a fabrication, crafted to hide a terrifying celestial truth. For millennia, Ethiopia has guarded forbidden texts that reveal the real rebellion in heaven, secrets so dangerous it was purged from the Bible. What you're about to discover will rewrite sacred history and expose why this knowledge was suppressed. Your soul has been waiting for this revelation. They lied to you about Lucifer. The fall you were taught, the proud angel cast from heaven, is a carefully crafted fiction. Picture this: a celestial cover-up spanning 2,000 years. A narrative weaponized to control your understanding of evil. But the truth survived. Hidden in the highlands of Ethiopia, scribes preserved what the councils ordered burned. You feel it, don't you? That gnawing sense the story has missing pieces. Why is Lucifer's rebellion so vague in Genesis? Why do details emerge only in cryptic prophecies? The fall was a lie, and tonight you begin unraveling the deception. Imagine a vault beneath an ancient monastery, a place where air smells of incense and age, where vellum pages whisper secrets that could topple theological empires. You're not just learning history, you're entering a crime scene. The victim, truth, the perpetrators, those who shaped the canon. But what if the real crime wasn't the fall, but the lie about it? Stay with me. The evidence is about to surface. Before the lie, there was a cosmos of breathtaking complexity. Heaven wasn't a static throne room. It was a living, vibrating reality of hierarchies and harmonies. You stand at the dawn of creation. The morning stars sing together. The sons of God shout for joy. And among them, the light-bringer, not a villain yet, a being of radiant intelligence entrusted with sacred duties. The invisible architecture of the divine realm unfolds before you. Chariots of fire, wheels within wheels, gates of pearl and flame. This is the world Lucifer inhabited, a cosmos where knowledge flowed like rivers, and worship was the very fabric of existence. But something stirred in the depths, a discontent, a question. Why would a being so close to the source risk it all? The traditional tale says pride. But the forbidden texts whisper another motive, a motive so profound it redefines rebellion. You sense the gap in the story, the missing why. The fall was a lie, because the truth involves something far more dangerous than pride. It involves a secret about humanity's destiny, and in Ethiopia, that secret was never forgotten. The veil grows thin. Can you feel the weight of what's coming? The celestial order was a masterpiece of divine engineering. Lucifer wasn't merely an angel, he was a guardian of mysteries. The keeper of light and wisdom, his domain, the boundaries between heaven and earth. Here lies the shocking truth. His so-called fall wasn't a descent from grace, but a crossing of boundaries, a deliberate breach. Picture the moment, the veil between realms, thin as parchment. Lucifer leading a host, not in rebellion against God, but in a forbidden mission to earth. Why? The forbidden texts are clear: to awaken humanity, to share knowledge withheld. The tree of knowledge wasn't a myth, it was a metaphor for celestial wisdom, and Lucifer's role was to deliver it. This changes everything. The fall was a lie. It wasn't a sin, it was a sacrifice, a planned intervention. The architecture of heaven trembled not from revolt, but from divine consent. You're reeling, I know. This shatters the foundation of good versus evil. But wait, the evidence is etched in ancient Ethiopic script. In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers descend with purpose. They teach humanity arts, sciences, secrets of the stars. This was Lucifer's legacy, and it terrified the powers that be. Why? Because awakened humans are harder to control. The rupture is coming, and it's not what you think. The rupture wasn't a fall, it was an invasion, a sanctioned descent that went off script. Lucifer and the Watchers crossed the veil, but something broke. The plan fractured. Instead of guided enlightenment, chaos erupted on earth. The forbidden knowledge corrupted. The Nephilim were born giants, monsters, hybrids. Heaven's response wasn't anger at rebellion, but grief at a mission failed. The Great Flood wasn't punishment for humanity's sin alone. It was a clean-up operation for a celestial experiment gone wrong. Imagine the scene, the skies weeping for 40 days, the waters rising to erase the evidence, and Lucifer not cast into hell, but bound, restrained. His name recast as the adversary. The lie took root here. The Church Fathers, centuries later, would simplify this complex tragedy into a tale of pride and punishment. They erased the nuance. They buried the truth. The fall was a lie. Because the real story is one of divine risk and cosmic collateral damage. You witness the aftermath now, a world scarred by forgotten wars, myths of gods and giants in every culture, echoes of the truth. But in Ethiopia, they never forgot. The keepers preserved the full account. What happened next to Lucifer? The texts reveal a binding, not a burning, an imprisonment with purpose. Don't leave. The consequences are even more devastating. After the flood, silence, a world reset. But the knowledge survived. Fragments carried by survivors, secrets passed in whispers. The Nephilim were gone, but their legacy lingered in human bloodlines, in megalithic ruins, in stars aligned to forgotten epochs. Lucifer bound in chains of darkness, according to Enoch, until a final reckoning. Yet his influence seeped through. The light he brought, the forbidden wisdom, became the foundation of civilizations. Agriculture, metallurgy, astronomy, gifts from the Watchers, cursed by heaven. This is the paradox they hid from you. The same being branded as evil also catalyzed human awakening. The fall was a lie, because it frames a complex cosmic event as simple morality play. The aftermath is a world of tangled grace. You feel it in your bones, the pull toward knowledge, the thirst for the divine, the suspicion that evil might wear a mask of light. Ethiopia holds the key. In its highland monasteries, the story wasn't simplified. It was kept in full, terrifying detail. Scribes copied the books of Enoch generation after generation, knowing the outside church had banned them. Why? Because the truth was too explosive. It suggested that God's plan included failure, that salvation history has hidden chapters, but someone witnessed everything, and his testimony survived against all odds. Primary evidence, the Book of Enoch, not a myth, a leaked celestial document. Enoch, the man who walked with God, was taken to heaven and shown the secrets. He saw the Watchers descend. He heard their names. He recorded their teachings. This is the testimony the canon excluded. Imagine holding this text, feeling the urgency in its lines. Enoch describes the celestial geography, the seven heavens, the prison for the fallen stars, the throne of glory. He names Lucifer's host. He details the corruption on earth. This isn't allegory. It's eyewitness account. The fall was a lie, because Enoch reveals no simple fall. He reveals a descent with intent, a rebellion that was perhaps a mandate gone awry. You're reading the original script before the editors took over. The evidence survived. In Ethiopia, Enoch was never lost. It remained scripture in the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. While the West forgot, they remembered. Why did Rome reject Enoch? Because it complicates the narrative. It introduces too many actors, too much divine ambiguity. It makes Lucifer a tragic figure, not a pure villain. And that was dangerous. But Enoch saw more. He saw the future. He saw the Son of Man coming with judgment. The connections are staggering. Don't go anywhere. The hidden testimony gets even deeper. Hidden testimony multiplies. The Book of Jubilees, the testament of the 12 patriarchs, the apocalypse of Abraham. Each adds layers to the story. Jubilees calls the Watchers the angels of the Lord, who descended for a purpose. They taught justice and righteousness, but also forbidden arts. The line between gift and curse blurs. You realize the suppression wasn't about error, it was about control. A simplified theology is easier to enforce. A complex, messy, divine drama raises too many questions. Questions like, was Lucifer part of God's plan all along? Did heaven need a scapegoat? The forbidden texts whisper yes. Ethiopia holds the key to this whispered truth. In these pages, Lucifer isn't Satan, as later tradition paints him. He is a principal angel, a servant whose mission precipitated a crisis. The fall was a lie, because the truth reframes the entire cosmic conflict. It's not good versus evil, it's order versus chaos, knowledge versus ignorance, free will versus control. You're piecing together a puzzle they said was complete, but the picture emerging is unrecognizable, and it points east, to Africa, to the cradle of this hidden history. The keepers of this truth risked everything. Why? Because they believed the full story must survive, and against all odds, it did. The keepers, Ethiopian monks in remote monasteries like Debre Damo, Gunda Gunde. For 15 centuries, they copied Enoch and related texts on parchment by candlelight, knowing the wider church condemned them as heretical. They became living libraries, guardians of the forbidden. You imagine their devotion, the sweat on their brows as they inked Gaia's script, the fear of discovery, the faith that this truth mattered for the end times. They didn't want you to know, but they preserved it for you. For this moment, you are part of their legacy. If you're realizing you're not alone in this hunger for hidden truth, share this journey. There are others searching. They need to find this path. You might be the one who leads them here. The veil grows thin. The keepers believed that when the world was ready, the secrets would emerge. That time is now. But how did these texts reach the modern world? A discovery so shocking it rewrote biblical scholarship. And it happened because of one man's obsession with Ethiopia. Stay with me. The story of how Enoch returned to the West will stun you. Modern discovery, 1773. Scottish explorer James Bruce journeys to Ethiopia. He hears rumors of an ancient book, long lost to Europe. In the treasury of a church, he finds it, the Book of Enoch, intact in Ge'ez. He brings copies back to Europe. Scholars are electrified. The text that influenced early Christianity, quoted in the New Testament, was real, and it contained explosive details about the Watchers, the Nephilim, the celestial secrets. The fall was a lie, because Enoch's account contradicted the sanitized version. Research exploded. Fragments in Aramaic were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, confirming its antiquity. The evidence survived, but the establishment resisted. Many theologians dismissed Enoch as legend, despite its profound influence on concepts of judgment, Messiah, and demonology in the New Testament. Why the resistance? Because accepting Enoch meant admitting the Bible is a curated collection, not the complete story. It meant Lucifer's narrative had been edited. Ethiopia holds the key, and now the world had to listen. But the deeper truth in these texts is even more transformative. It's about your place in the cosmos. What scholars found will rewrite everything you thought you knew about salvation. The deeper truth, Lucifer's story, is your story. The descent of the Watchers symbolizes humanity's awakening to divine consciousness. The forbidden knowledge isn't sin, it's the spark of godhood within you. The lie was told to keep you small, to make you fear your own potential. The fall was a lie. Because the real fall is forgetting your celestial origin. The real rebellion is accepting ignorance as piety. Ethiopia's forbidden texts remind you you are made in the image of God, with access to mysteries. Lucifer's crime in the twisted narrative was wanting humans to be like God, but that was the original promise in Eden. You see the inversion? The truth sets you free. The lie binds you in guilt. This isn't just ancient history, this is about you. Right now, your spiritual hunger, that ache for more, is the echo of that forbidden knowledge. The veil grows thin. You were meant to hear this, to remember, to awaken. But awakening has consequences. It always did. The opposition to this truth was fierce because awakened humans change worlds. They question authority. They seek direct experience of the divine. And that threatened every power structure built on controlled access to God. The evidence is still out there, not just in texts, but in stone. Your calling to reclaim this narrative, to see Lucifer not as a monster, but as a mirror, a reflection of the divine risk inherent in creation. The Lightbringer archetype lives in you, the drive to illuminate, to know, to ascend. The forbidden texts in Ethiopia are a map back to your own celestial heritage. You feel it, don't you? That this truth resonates in your soul, that the story you were taught never quite fit. You were made for this, to be a keeper in your own way, to live with the full, messy, glorious truth of the cosmic drama. The fall was a lie, and realizing that is your first step towards spiritual freedom. But this isn't abstract. Physical traces exist. In Ethiopia, rock-hewn churches align with stars mentioned in Enoch. Inscriptions tell of the watchers. The land itself remembers. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins. With this knowledge, you look at the world anew. You see the hidden patterns, the suppressed histories, and you understand why they tried to bury it. Because truth-tellers are dangerous. But the evidence survived. And now, you carry it. Will you hide it again, or will you let it transform you? The choice is urgent, because the opposition was real, and it's not over. Physical traces. Lalibela's churches, carved from solid rock in the 12th century, are oriented to celestial events described in Enochian astronomy. The stelae of Axum, towering obelisks, echo the Nephilim's grandeur. In remote caves, manuscripts wait, still undiscovered. Ethiopia is a living archive. You can touch the stones that hold the memory. The evidence survived here because the Ethiopian church never severed its Jewish roots, never fully embraced the councils that banned apocrypha. They kept the old ways. The veil grows thin in these places. Pilgrims feel a palpable connection to the ancient world, but not everyone wanted this found. European colonizers and missionaries often dismissed or destroyed such artifacts, seeing them as pagan or heretical. The suppression continued, yet the truth persisted. Archaeologists now uncover more links. Inscriptions referencing sons of God, artifacts depicting angelic beings. Each find confirms the forbidden texts. The fall was a lie, and the proof is etched in the very landscape. But the opposition wasn't just historical, it was theological, institutional, and violent. Who were they, and why did they fear this truth so much? The answer will ignite your righteous anger. The opposition. Early church councils like Laodicea, 364 AD, that decreed Enoch not for public reading. Church fathers like Augustine, who marginalized apocryphal texts, the medieval church that burned manuscripts and silenced dissent. Why? Because the story of Lucifer and the Watchers decentralized salvation. It suggested multiple divine agents, a complex cosmology, and human potential outside clerical control. It made evil ambiguous, and ambiguity is the enemy of dogma. The fall was a lie perpetuated to maintain power, to create a clear enemy, Satan, and a clear savior, the Church. Ethiopia held out, but faced pressure for centuries. You see the pattern. Truth suppressed for control. They didn't want you to know, because knowing empowers you. It makes you a co-creator in the divine story, not a passive recipient. Now you understand their fear. The evidence survived despite them. But what now? This knowledge isn't just for contemplation. It's for action. Your soul has been craving this truth. Now that you have it, what will you do? Will you let it change you? Will you share it? The decision is yours, and it matters more than you think. One final revelation awaits. Your decision. Embrace the full, forbidden narrative. Let it shatter your old paradigms. Let it ignite your spiritual journey with new fire. You were meant to hear this. The fall was a lie, and knowing that frees you to explore the depths of your faith without fear. To see Lucifer as a symbol of suppressed light, and to reclaim that light within yourself. This is urgent, because the world needs awakened souls. It needs those who dare to know the whole story. If this revelation is reshaping your understanding, don't let it end here. Return, dive deeper. This channel exists to uncover what was buried. Subscribe, because the forbidden texts we're bringing to light next will complete what you've started today. Share this with others who hunger. Be a keeper in the digital age. The veil grows thin. The time for hidden truth is over. But there's one last secret, the most shocking of all. It's about the true purpose of Lucifer's descent and how it connects to your salvation. Don't leave. The final unveiling will tie everything together in a way that will leave you breathless. The final unveiling, Lucifer's fall, was a lie, because it was a divine necessity, a shadow aspect of God's own self sent to catalyze human evolution. In the Ethiopian mystical tradition, Lucifer is sometimes seen as the tester, the refiner, the one who forces growth through challenge. His binding is temporary until he plays his final role in the apocalypse, not as eternal enemy, but as reconciled instrument. This is the forbidden hope, that even the Lightbringer's story ends in redemption, that evil itself is a servant to good. Ethiopia holds the key to this cosmic reconciliation. The texts hint at a restoration of all things, where every fractured piece returns to the source. You stand at the threshold of this understanding. The lie kept you in fear. The truth sets you free to love even the shadows. The fall was a lie. The truth is a fall into greater consciousness, a descent into matter that ultimately ascends. You were made for this realization. Your soul remembers. Now, go live it. Share it. Be the light that was never meant to be hidden. The evidence survived for you. The journey continues. You are awake.